Here's a 5-minute chapter-wise summary of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Chapter 1. Laying Plans. Sun Tzu starts off by emphasizing the importance of careful thought before engaging in war. He suggests that before going into battle, a general must consider which side is stronger, has more discipline, and is better trained and organized. If the general can determine that their opponent is too strong, it is wise to avoid conflict altogether. The moral stance of a side is also important, as a general who is righteous and virtuous is likely to have more command over their men. This chapter focuses on planning and preparation. Chapter 2. Waging War. In this chapter, Sun Tzu discusses the importance of striking quickly and efficiently in order to avoid exhausting one's army and resources. He suggests that money and human lives should not be used recklessly, as they are finite resources. Sun Tzu also advises using the resources of one's enemy, rather than destroying him, in order to conserve one's own resources. The key takeaway from this chapter is that the impact on a general's treasury should be kept to a minimum, and resources should be used wisely. Chapter 3. Attack by Stratagem. Sun Tzu begins this chapter by reinforcing the idea that destroying everything in war is not always beneficial. He suggests that it is often more advantageous to strategically destroy an enemy's political power, rather than razing their cities to the ground. He then provides various strategies for attacking an enemy based on the size of the armies involved. The chapter concludes with 5 essential factors to consider in strategy: knowing when to fight, knowing how to deploy an army, having united officers and men serving, being prepared for any surprise, and having a general who can make their own decisions without political leaders interfering. Chapter 4. Tactical Dispositions. This chapter discusses when to advance and force a battle, and when to defend and become invulnerable. Sun Tzu suggests that a skillful general seeks victory, not battle, and that a quick and decisive attack is often more effective than a prolonged battle. He also introduces the concept of yin and yang, and the importance of balance in military strategy. Chapter 5. Use of Energy. Sun Tzu emphasizes the importance of managing one's army effectively, regardless of its size. He suggests dividing an army into units and knowing each unit's purpose in order to attack effectively. The chapter also includes advice on deception and using one's opponent's weaknesses against them. Chapter 6. Weak Points and Strong. This chapter focuses on the importance of knowing one's own strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of one's opponent. Sun Tzu suggests that attacking an enemy's weaknesses is often more effective than attacking their strengths, and that a good general is able to adapt their strategy to the situation at hand. Chapter 7. Maneuvering. In this chapter, Sun Tzu discusses the importance of maneuvering one's army to gain an advantage over the enemy. He suggests that a good general is able to use their opponent's movements against them, and that deception and surprise attacks can be effective in gaining an advantage. Chapter 8. Variation in Tactics. Sun Tzu suggests that a good general is able to adapt their tactics to the situation at hand. He introduces the concept of using different tactics for different situations, and suggests that a good general is able to use their opponent's expectations against them. Chapter 9. The Army on the March. This chapter focuses on the importance of logistics in military campaigns. Sun Tzu suggests that a good general must be able to manage their army's supplies and movements effectively, in order to avoid exhausting their resources. Chapter 10. Terrain. Discusses the importance of terrain in warfare. Sun Tzu argues that the general who understands the advantages and disadvantages of the terrain can use it to his advantage and win battles. He advises that before engaging in battle, the general should carefully study the terrain, noting its features, and adapting his strategies to suit the conditions. Sun Tzu also discusses the importance of timing in warfare, emphasizing that the general should choose the right moment to strike, taking into account the movement of the enemy. Chapter 11. The 9 Situations. Focuses on the use of spies in warfare. Sun Tzu argues that intelligence is essential to successful warfare and that spies can provide valuable information about the enemy's strengths and weaknesses. He advises that spies should be carefully selected, trained, and managed, and that their information should be verified before being acted upon. Sun Tzu also emphasizes the importance of secrecy in the use of spies, warning that if the enemy discovers the use of spies, they will be of no value. Chapter 12. The Attack of Fire is about the use of troops in battle. Sun Tzu emphasizes the importance of morale, arguing that the general who can maintain the high spirits of his troops will have a significant advantage in battle. He also discusses the importance of discipline and training, noting that well-trained troops will be more effective in battle than poorly trained ones. Sun Tzu advises that the general should avoid protracted warfare, which can weaken morale and drain resources, and instead seek to win quickly and decisively. Chapter 13. The Use of Spies. Discusses the use of spies again, this time in relation to deception. Sun Tzu argues that deception is an essential element of warfare, and that the general who can deceive the enemy will have a significant advantage. He advises that the general should use spies to spread false information, create diversions, and mislead the enemy about his intentions. Sun Tzu also warns that the general should be careful not to reveal his own intentions or weaknesses, as this will give the enemy an advantage.